ARFID is one of our newer eating disorders. It stands for Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder. It is a restrictive eating disorder, just like anorexia nervosa and atypical anorexia nervosa, where a person isn't eating enough food to support their metabolic and nutritional needs. But the drive for that, the motivation for the food restriction is different than for anorexia. It's driven not by a drive for thinness or an over-idealization of thinness. It's driven instead by a fear of what will happen if you eat. For example, you may have a fear of choking, or a fear of nausea or vomiting, or a fear of getting a stomach ache. So it could be the avoidance of a fear of a physical consequence. Or it might be from an extreme sensory aversion, real extreme sensory sensitivities, like the way that food will feel in your stomach or going down your throat. So people may avoid very sticky food or very soft foods, or only eat soft foods, or only eat crunchy foods. Or even it could be that you will only eat certain color foods. I had a patient once who would only eat beige food, and they would eat any beige food, but it did limit what they were willing to eat. And then a third type of ARFID is really just driven by just a lack of appetite. There's really not a big hunger drive that is propelling people to go get food. And so you have to actually schedule meals for these kids and young adults, or even older adults. They have to remember to eat. They have to actually think of food not necessarily as something that they're going to get a lot of pleasure around, but just something that their body needs, sort of like pulling yourself up to a gas station, filling up fuel, and and that just has to be done at a certain time of day and in a certain way and in an adequate enough amount, because you're not getting a lot of drives from your brain and your body to go fill up your tank. ARFID is, again, it's not very well understood, and it's not just being a picky eater, because this actually results in some pretty significant medical consequences, the same kind of medical consequences that we see for anorexia, which is a very dangerous eating disorder. People can become really very nutritionally deprived, very, very malnourished when they have ARFID, and we have to consider the medical consequences for ARFID to be very, very significant. Even though they're not trying to be the skinny kid in their class, it's actually driven by something completely different.